Hey guys, Bryan Lebo here with your September market update. Now, sorry for not having an update video last month, but hey, I need a vacation too, right? Now, while we're gone, the overall market started changing on us rather quickly. We're still going to cover our typical subjects like the notice of defaults, inventory levels, what the inventory consists of, and all of the typical analytics that you're used to. But I want to spend more time today speaking candidly about what to look out for and potential triggers on the horizon. Okay, first are the NODs or notice of defaults. We monitor these numbers since the more homes receive NODs, the more potential foreclosures we'll see down the road. As you can see on the screen now, people started freaking out when the July numbers broke 1,000. Now, I told people to wait and see before we get too excited about it. Well, last month, we dropped back down to 770 NODs. Now, ultimately, it's not worth spending too much time trying to analyze this since the numbers are so small that we're essentially guaranteed to have the same amount of foreclosures in 6 months that we still have today. Okay, now let's talk about inventory. This is the most important metric to focus on moving forward. First, let's check out the entire year. As you can see, while our inventory was relatively consistent in the beginning of the year, since May, we've been steadily increasing. Now, check this out. Since June 19th, our inventory has increased by more than 13%. I mean, that's a ton in only 2.5 months. For 18 straight weeks, our inventory has increased. Again, 18 weeks. Now, none of the current inventory, now the inventory at 13% are now short sales, and only 4% are foreclosures. So this means that 83% of the market is now traditional sales. Now, naturally, this is the highest percentage since I've been tracking this, which is good. But remember, this 83% later in the show. Now, let's check out the median price. Last month, the newspaper went wild because we finally broke $200,000 for the first time since the recession. Well, the good news is that this month, the median price was exactly the same as last month, with a median price of exactly $200,000. Now, while this is identical to last month, it also represents an 11% increase since August of last year. Now let's look at last month's sales volume. Last month, we sold 2,408 homes. That's down from 2,490 in July. But historically speaking, that's actually what's supposed to happen as we start to close out this year. But here's the really bad news. Last year, we sold 2,768 homes. Simply put, sales are down 13% from last year. Okay, now that I just gave you a bunch of data, what does all this actually mean to you? An honest agent will tell you that the market has cooled off considerably. We see it and feel it, but everything you read right now in the paper and see in the news seems to focus on the fact that home values are up and everything is just rosy and dandy. So let's put feelings aside and let's look at the facts. I'm talking about simple economics 101 here, folks. First is supply. Well, as we discussed, inventory is rising rapidly, very rapidly. On the demand side, sales are down 13%. Now, any college freshman in their first week can solve this simple economic model. If supply rises and demand decreases, prices also go down. Why did we see a 60% increase in 2 years to begin with? Because demand was sky high and inventory was just absurdly low. I mean, less than half of what we have right now. But let's dig deeper here. Right now, we have about 7,700 homes on the MLS for sale. The truth is that about a third of these homes on the market are so absurdly overpriced that they literally can't be purchased. So effectively, we really only have about 5,000 homes worth even considering. Now, according to the so-called experts, we should have about 13,000 homes on the market to create a fair and balanced market. Now, by that rationale, we're in an extremely hot seller's market, right? Now, talk to any seller right now, and they'll tell you quite the opposite. Right now, I feel as though the market is perfectly fair. If you price your home correctly, it should sell within 30 days. Now, if you're a buyer, you're seeing tons of price reductions and homes just sitting around. Therefore, buyers don't feel the pressure that they did 6 months ago. This is a fair market right now. For 2 straight months, the median price has been completely identical. I'd be greatly surprised to see prices rise at all moving forward. Now, while this is fair, here's the problem. Moving forward now, every day gets historically worse. Demand is already low, and historically, sales will continue to decrease every month. Now, while this is fine and normal activity, we don't need the inventories to continue to spike, though. You see, right now, most sellers are foolishly living in last year's world. Sellers still think that this is a great market and that perhaps they're just being, a little aggressive on the price. But realtors and buyers aren't wasting their time anymore on these overpriced properties, since there's such a large pool of homes to look at right now. Unfortunately, the media isn't focusing much on the current market as much as the rah-rah propaganda from several months past. But at some point here in the next couple of months, we're going to see sellers wake up and get a little more realistic here on pricing, or simply just pull their homes off the market altogether. Now, most realtors are simply afraid to be honest with a potential seller, since most sellers right now are just completely unrealistic, and they want an agent to reaffirm their own beliefs. A great example came from the Las Vegas Review-Journal this week. Now, they ran a puff piece created really by new home builders to refute the fact that the median price of a new home is now $113,000 more than that of a resale home. So in other words, the median price new home, get this, 67% more expensive than a resale home. While you could argue this all day long, what you can't argue is that historically, we've never even come close to such a disparity in value. Any way you cut it, new homes are utterly, ridiculously overpriced right now. This article essentially attempted to manipulate the statistical facts in order to try to justify why people should pay 67% more for a new home. Facts like, well, hey, buying a resale home doesn't create job growth, and there's a significant amount of distress in the market. Okay, first, why should I be the one to overpay 67% to create jobs? Who's going to take care of me when I have to short sell my home again in 2 years? And distress sales? Come on. Earlier in this video, I showed you that 83% of the market are traditional sales. The reason why home builders promoted this crap is because they're getting their teeth kicked in right now. You see, buyers aren't desperate and foolish anymore. While resale homes are down, 13%, new home sales are down between 25 and 35% depending on who you ask. Last year, they were trying not to pay us realtors, and now we're seeing 5% commissions all over the place and gobs of standing inventory homes. You see, these home builders are scared, and they should be. Land that was going for $400,000 an acre earlier this year is now expected to only sell for $325,000 at the upcoming BLM auction that's coming up in December. Now, why is this? Because developers are scared of the market. Land doesn't drop 20% in 1 year because of optimism. So to wrap this all up, the market has officially plateaued. It's over. The best you're going to get has already passed by. If you're a seller and it's been 3 months and you still haven't sold your home, guess what? It's overpriced. Homes are no longer just selling themselves. Amateur hour, it's over. If your agent took pictures of your house on their iPhone, it's time to find a new agent. Now's the time to hire a professional and more importantly, be very realistic about your expectations. At some point, the media is going to have to be honest about the rising inventory and the depleted demand. Once this happens, people will finally believe what we already know to be true. But once this does happen, the market can turn very quickly. We don't need investors just dumping homes after the tenants move out. We don't need motivated sellers suddenly becoming desperate sellers. And most importantly, we don't need buyers to worry that if they purchase a new home, they'll lose money next year. Now, these are all very possible scenarios based on the current trends. Now, if you're a buyer, just be smart, just be patient. Time's on your side from here on out. Now, thank you for watching. Please click here to subscribe. And if you have any questions or concerns about real estate, please feel free to reach out to me anytime. Thanks again, and have a fantastic September, everyone.